Okay, let's also head across to Anil Rego, who's founder and CEO of Right Horizons. Anil, thanks for being with us. So the market's kind of just getting tired out there, it seems. But you still think this is the time we should be buying?
Sure, I think one could wait and watch for a few days, and in a market like this, probably look at what are the sectors which can be a little defensive in case of a market fall. I believe technology may be one sector, interestingly, that even in case of a high interest rate scenario, technology normally outperforms most of the other sectors. So at a time like this, we've seen a bit of a pullback. We've seen a bit of momentum in there. Mid caps are buzzing. A lot of them are buzzing around. So I think this can be a strategy where you don't miss out, just in case the market continues to go up.
Okay. Anil, your thoughts on the kind of volatility that we've seen in infrastructure of late, because we all know that we need infrastructure and roads and ports, etc. required. But the fact is the earnings have been a little disappointing, at least in this quarter. I mean, someone like an L&T has not been able to grow the order book too much. Your thoughts?
Sure, I think while the stocks like L&T, which have not shown very good results, they have been really battered down very, very badly. And you go back and look at the P ratio, etc. It comes to a reasonable valuation where I would assume that the stock, even if it doesn't grow at much faster rates, will continue to grow, and it will itself form a stability out there. So I would look at it relative to where the prices are. At the same time, there are stocks like an IRB, for example, which are absolutely battered on the street there, and maybe this is a time where one can start picking up small lots of these scripts, because I think eventually, if you look at it, especially for a long-term investor, I think that companies like this, which are making money from toll revenues, a lot of tolls also coming in there, would see some bit of support from the market there, and support from the fundamentals and the profitability as well. So I would at this time maybe not go overboard on it, but start maybe doing some small buying there.
Anil, good morning. We all know that the only way to make money in the market is to find an edge, know something that somebody else has not already figured out. The problem with some of these financials and companies like IRB is it's very difficult to figure out something that everybody's not already talking about. So I'd say maybe the price has already built it in, or it already reflects it. Anil, can you talk about one or two ideas? They may be just pure themes. They may be ideas that the market has not thought about. Because that's the only edge one has. That's the only place one finds something, because either the institution doesn't find enough volume, or is not interested, or there is no broker covering it, or there is no research, or there is no reason for any of the broker salesmen to sell the stock. You got any such idea?
Sure, I think a couple of them. Like this time, my focus was a little bit on the IT side, and while some of these stocks are not completely unknown, I would rather go for something in between there, which is not a category A type of company, there a large cap type of stock. So Polaris is something that I believe can do well. Looking at it also that the global markets are doing well. A lot of reports that the US companies are beginning to outsource in a larger way on the technology side. There's a lot more comfort there. And especially, there's a lot of traction being seen on the BFSI segment, which is perfectly where this company is positioned. So I think and the company also has a lot of cash on its books. I would expect an acquisition sometime. So I think Polaris is one such stock. Going on the defensive side, or the contrarian side, if I look at it, maybe an EduComp. Stocks used to be the darling of the institutions before, then somewhere lost its way. There was some negative news flow that happened. There were questions on the data that the company gave, but I think it's a fantastic space. It's probably best positioned among all of them, and what gives me comfort also is the results. So one thing that one has been looking at, all companies where the results have been strong and battered down are the ones where the investors could go and put their fingers in and go and look at some of the stocks there. So again, Educom maybe 2-3 weeks back I would have said don't look at it, but after being terribly battered down and good results, I think is a stock that one could look at. There are also stocks like I think a pre-budget stock like a Rally, for example. I do expect in this budget that a lot of initiative on the agriculture side. I definitely believe that with the way the food inflation is moving, the government will come out with some measures or the other out here. So I think this can be one interesting pre-budget play there. So with a maybe level of 1350 is something that one can look at the stock at.
Okay. The other one is Indiabulls Real Estate. Earlier they thought it's a buy, not anymore. Now they are just calling it neutral, so that's another downgrade coming through. Prestige Estates is a new coverage for them. That's a neutral call they've put out. 169 is their expectation on Prestige, so that's a bit of a bump up they're expecting from here. And Oberoi Realty is a buy, according to them. They expect a price target of 327 in the next 12 months. Anil, do you want to take up any of these stocks? I mean, either, and we know that Oberoi Realty and Prestige Estates are probably one of the few companies, even Indiabulls for that matter, which actually have some cash on them. They don't have such a humongous debt issue surrounding them.
Sure. Actually, we liked Mahindra Lifespace, but that has already moved up a reasonable bit. In fact, I think for somebody to have bought real estate, they should have done it maybe a week back. And when valuations were looking really battered in the space. So here I would just wait out for a little bit, maybe see continued strength on the index, because that first rally has happened already. Maybe just wait it out, see how the market, broader market goes, and then maybe come back to real estate, considering that one has already missed it at this point of time. So I would stay put, but yeah, within the set, yeah, I think we are okay with Oberoi real estate type of stocks there, which do not have too much of leverage, and I think that will be the differentiator between a lot of these stocks.
Well, I mean, as far as Oberoi Realty is concerned, nobody seems to have the stock. Vikas Oberoi, and I think it's his company, they own 78%. Another 19% is owned by some SS3 India investment. So that's 19 plus 78 comes to 97. And another 2% is owned by T. Rowe Price. So, I mean, this is like Hindustan Copper. I mean, so I don't know what that buy is about, because nobody else seems to have the stock. So, you need volumes to develop a technical stock. But, so if they say buy, I mean, buy what? I don't
That's probably also one of the reasons why Oberoi has not been as volatile, Ashu, as a lot of the other real estate stocks and this whole churn that we've seen in the last 10 days.
Should be, I mean, having said that, I'd also say, see, Oberoi, unlike the others, never really went and spent the money. So whatever they got on the IPO, they have. Now, I'm not saying this is the way it'll go, but let's say DB Realty wants to sell something or needs to sell something. Well, who's the guy who can pick it up? I mean, the only guys who have money. And so in Bombay, they have money. And, in Bombay, it's not even necessary you have money. You need to understand how the Bombay real estate market works, which is labyrinthical and Byzantine in its empire. And the Byzantinians would be confused as to how it works. So, this is not somebody walks in from somewhere, I got money, I want to build a tower here. You ain't getting to do it. So these guys understand it, and that's why, whether it's DB actually for, if you can get rid of DB Realty or HDIL or Indiabulls or Oberoi, the Bombay market is exceedingly complex, and these guys have figured it out. However they have, but they have figured it out.
Okay, we need to take a very quick break. Back with more stocks on the other side.